platforms we're going live on this morning. Very excited for our live today. Gives me time to get settled in this morning. If you're watching, thank you for watching. Really glad that you're here. I am live, um, and I'm grateful to be live. Wow, it's working. Okay. So I'm live on multiple platforms. So if you want the best view, you might want to just go to Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, but also on Substack and TikTok. So I'm back and I'm live because it is day 2 of my showing up for myself and collective liberation. So this is my excitement about showing up and what that means for me when the world is going to poop. Um, oh, so funny. This little background is Super Mario Brothers and it feels super distracting, but that's okay. If you're not on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, you can't see the background and that works out just fine. But I'm really grateful to be live and to um, be able to uh, share some words with the collective this morning. So if you don't know, I have been doing this campaign that I started yesterday for 30 days to show up for myself. And it is my 3K and 30-day campaigns. I keep saying 30K. Something's going on with 30K, but what's happening is that I am selling books and bracelets for the next 30 days. And so I've been making them. And out of 3,000 bracelets, I got about 15, but 9 are already being shipped to people. So it's not like I can do anything with these bracelets. Hey, Rachel. Because they are, hey, Angel, they already are for somebody else's order. So out of the 15 that I'm looking at, like 7 of these go out with these books later this week to people who ordered the books. Got a little bit of delayed processing because I ran out of beads. It's so easy to run out of beads. And I got to get my bead stores together. So today, at some time today, hey, Rihanna, thanks for being here today. I'm going to be sealing them, cutting them, and then I seal them in this bag. So people are like, why am I paying so much for a book? And the reality is that this is laborious. I have to make 2,900 of these. And so it's going to take time to make these. And so they come like this. They come in this cute little bag. They come with your book with a cute little thank you card. So I'm super excited to really show up for myself. I think, I was saying the other day, there was like a 90-day period where I stopped showing up just because, what do you do when you're digitally erased from the world, right? Like you just kind of go within yourself and try to figure out, what does this mean for me and what does this mean for my work? And to go through seasons of life, like the last 2 years, but specifically the last year has been really incredibly hard. And it's really been a season of who am I? And it's really been great to have people in my life to remind me and to show me. And then I had a friend say, you need to listen to Heal Your Way Forward. You need to read Heal Your Way Forward. And literally, I can't tell you how many times in the last 90 days I've listened to it. I've reread it. I've looked at some parts and ooh, I should rewrite this part, but I'm not. But I have spent so much time reading the book over and over again and researching and highlighting for myself, because I think one of the things that you forget as an artist, you forget about your art and what your art means to you. And I think I spent so much time worrying about what my art means to the world and how the world wants to see it, and not really embodying it for myself. And so I think that's why I talk so much, as I've grown as a teacher practitioner, I talk so much more now about the embodiment of the work, because yes, those are that book, it's words on paper, but it's also this living, breathing embodiment. And that's what's really important when we think about liberation work or decolonization work, whatever the words that people are using today. It's gone from anti-racism to anti-oppression to decolonization to liberation to freedom. Whatever words you're using that you are trying to reclaim yourself from oppression, we're all in this reclaim and recovery season, right? And so in that process on your journey, you have to start asking ourselves, what is my why? And am I a part of it? What is my why, and am I a part of it? I think we get so caught up in the why being outside of ourselves that we take distance ourselves from it. And so once you start to disassociate and distance yourself from it, it can take a little while to come back to it. And something that a lot of people I know who are in white bodies struggle with is this idea that I'm in a white body and I can't center myself. And it's not, I don't want to say it's really about centering yourself. I think it's more about decentering yourself by looking at behaviors that cause harm, right? If I'm centering myself, it's because I'm being called out on a behavior and I'm trying to prove that I'm a good person, right? But if I'm decentering myself, when I'm called out on a behavior, I can feel the energy in my body. I can slow myself down and move into reflection and introspection before I react. And I think there's been so many people that teach so many different ways that people are kind of confused. So it's pretty hard to be confused, and it's also hard to be feeling powerlessness, and it's also hard to know where your footing is landing when your attention is being bombarded by the media, by the press, by the system. It's really hard to have presence when you are being flooded all the time. And that's something that, when I was becoming a therapist, when I was in school I've been in school for different majors, emotional flooding and bombardment. And we really don't realize and recognize how much of this that we're dealing with right now is intentional. It is by design. And then on top of the bombardment and emotional dysregulation, then you also have, right? You also have what's happening in your personal lives, and then you also have what's happening with your neighbors, and then you just have so many layers. If you're a parent, if you're a partner, it feels like so much is on top of you. Like, how do you find your breath? How do you catch your breath? How do you find your footing, and what does that look like? And I think it really just begins with some deep, like, removal of things so that you can get clear. And so last week for me, it was removing social media for 7 days. And, in the past, I've done it for about 30 days. I've done it for about a week. Um, and, one of the things that I find really, really interesting about like withdrawing from social media, you actually get to see where your attention has been, right? And then you start to feel your body. And then you start to realize, like, oh my gosh, like, whoa, what are these sensations? You can't feel if you're always distracted. That's what I want to tell folks. You cannot feel if you're already distracted. And until you make space to feel, right? Until you cultivate presence to feel, you will always be distracted and disembodied. And at this iteration of the work, whether you call it anti-racism, liberation, decolonized, anti-oppressive, whatever word you call it, right? If you're distracted and disembodied, you're not living into your work. And when I say living into your work, I mean it is a total embodied practice of living into yourself, your values, what you dream about, what you care about. And I think in a culture of oppression, we don't dream and we don't co create. We really sit in the duality of both ands and multiple truths, and we're not holding space for presence. Um, the work requires presence. And how can we be present when we are constantly overwhelmed and bombarded? And I think the invitation is to really slow down. And so what we're doing in our social media detox group this week, today, actually, the practice is let me pull that up so I can see it. Because I put prompts in every day. Today is about listening to your inner voice. And what is your inner voice trying to tell you? And how can you honor the messages in your daily life? So when you start to pull back from social media, sometimes you start to hear this voice that you haven't heard in a very long time. And it could be conscious or unconscious. But that's what the beauty is of contracting and expansion, is that when you pull back from echo chambers, when you pull back from oh, what does this person want me to do? They're the expert. At some point, you start to say, but I'm also an expert, and I'm the expert of my own journey, and I'm the expert of my own life. And it is possible for me to sit in the value and the knowledge of who I am, because there are voices, right? When you start to pull back from social media and you move away from echo chambers, the voices that's the loudest is always your inner critic. Your inner critic is the loudest voice in your head. Your inner critic. That's the voice that's full of shame. Your inner critic is full of shame. Your inner critic is full of judgment. Your inner critic is full of all types of ideologies from your childhood that you are reinforcing as an adult. That's the one of the loudest voice in your head. And the softest voice in your head is your voice of presence, is your voice of consciousness, is your voice of creativity and imagination. When you start pulling back from echo chambers, you can actually start tapping into that voice of presence, that voice of creativity, that voice of imagination, because you are slowly starting to disentangle your relationship with voices that are echo chambers of what you should be doing. And the only person in this journey that knows what you should be doing is actually you. You can come to me and ask me, well, why you should all this is happening in the world, and what do you think I should do? And I'm going to look back at you and I'm going to say, well, what do you think? And we're going to stare at each other for about 5 minutes, because you're going to be like, what do you mean? What do I think? I came to you. I need to hear from you what you think first, because my opinion about what you should be doing is really none of your business. And it can reinforce a cognitive bias or disbelief in yourself. And I never want to be the person that reinforces the negative beliefs that you have about yourself that were created from a system that is rooted in your disembodiment and mental enslavement. That is what oppression does to all of us. Oppression disembodies all of us, and it keeps us mentally enslaved to things outside of ourselves. So if you're just now joining, I've been talking about the importance of disconnecting, right? Minimizing echo chambers, and the two voices that are in your head. And I'll say it again, the two voices that are the loudest in your head are your inner critic, and I call it your consciousness, your conscious best friend. Your inner critic is full of the shame. Your inner critic is full of disembodiment. Your inner critic is full of those stories from childhood from your parents. And I just want to say this. When we talk about our parents, we also need to imagine the generations, right? Some of our parents were raised by the silent generation, so nothing was talked about. Some of our parents were raised by Gen X. We pick ourselves up by our bootstraps. Some of your parents were raised by, I don't know, the generation before silent generation, I forgot. But when you look through the generations, your parents only did what was repeated historically, epigenetically, and generationally within your family's bloodline. That is why the work is called Heal Your Way Forward, because you have to now go back and look at all the patterns in your family so that you can move towards something different. That is why I talk so much about this book, Heal Your Way Forward, and the work that we all can be doing together. So your inner critic is all of those voices. Your inner critic are childhood experiences. Your inner critic is shame. Your inner critic is perfectionism. Your inner critic is sense of urgency. You're not doing too much. You're not moving fast enough. There is such a deep relationship with white supremacy culture, inner critic, addiction. It's wild when you slow yourself down and think about it. So how do you move from that inner critic voice to that voice of reasons? Hey, Shifa, yes, this is my lives on Substack are saved. This is also going to be on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So how do you move from that inner critic to that voice of consciousness, that voice of reason, with slowing down and self-connecting? When we have our direct compassionate communication sessions, one of the things that people struggle with is slowing down and self-connection and the practice of self-empathy. And we have so much empathy for everyone else, but we don't have it for ourselves. And that's something that as a collective we struggle with. And I think that's why we are seeing so much infighting, so much disillusionment and disembodiment, because we give so much of our time to everybody else, but not ourselves. And so we're often not realizing that we are a walking performance, which is, I have a book behind me. I love talking about this chapter in the book. Real action is not a performance. One of my favorite chapters. And my favorite, I love this chapter of the book because I started it off with William Shakespeare, because it's actually true when you think about it. All the world is a stage and men and women are merely players. Like, that is so real. All the world is a stage and men and women are merely players. That is so real. So what stage are you standing on in your life? What are the stages that you're performing for? Because one of the things I've realized as a mother, is that if I am overgiving my time and my attention to my children, what am I giving to myself? Like, at what point of my journey do I get to give back to myself? And what does that look like? And a lot of us don't have the answer. I don't have the answer for everyone, but I know it's possible. A quote from this chapter is: real action is not a performance, but unfortunately, systemic oppression has trained and socialized us to believe that as long as it looks like we care, change will come. So, as long as we look like we care and as long as we remain disembodied, change will never come. And that is why we have to move into the practice of healing our way forward. And so, me showing up on these streets twice a day for the next 29 days now is really me, like, being committed to my practice and to my process. You are in the radical listening chapter. That is so exciting. That makes me so happy. Thank you for listening. And thank you for reading. I love that chapter too. I think I love every chapter in this book. If I had a top three, it's probably radical listening, room for tears, and action is not a performance. If I had a top three, right? If I had a top three. So this is really, really exciting. And so, yeah, this is really cool. So yeah, if you want to be a part of the work and support what we got going on now, I have a new campaign called the 3K in 30 days. So I am trying to get 3,000 books sold and shipped out. Well, they'll be shipped out in like 45 days, but we are trying to get the work into as many 3,000 hands in the next 30 to 45 days. I want to say thank you to everybody who's contributed so far. If I look at the contributions so far, we have enough to buy 10 books, it looks like. So we can start ordering as soon as we get the first round of 20. So with 10 books being ordered, and I think there's another order of 20 coming in, looks like we might only have 2,960 to go. And that is exciting. So if you want to support this new campaign, I would love you all to, I'll put the link on Substack because you guys don't have it. I would love for you all to just donate so we can get 3,000 people's hands on this book. Between students in universities, social work students, decolonized education students, therapists. The goal is to, if you have a therapist, order one for your therapist. I'll ship it to your therapist and I won't tell them it's for you. But we have sold, it looks like, if this number is right, about 8 books. We have enough, and some of them are donations. So we have donations going out. We have 3 donated books. That's so exciting to share with people. And it's really great to see like how the anonymous donation just made me smile, since I already have my treasured copy of Heal Your Way Forward, hoping this puts a copy in another's hand. This is really great. Like, I love when I see people like supporting, having other people have a copy. I even want to have my own little free library of Heal Your Way Forward books. Maybe I'll do that. but I'm going to need help to get the book. So this is exciting. I'm really proud of all of us for believing that we can get these copies out. I actually want to tell you all about a wild vision I had. I'm actually going to do probably this weekend. Is I have to get a permit from the city of Las Vegas. I'm going to get a permit. If you ever been to Las Vegas, have you been to Fremont Street? I'm gonna go live so y'all can see. I'm holding myself accountable. Okay, I am going to get a QR code and a picture of my book, and I'm going to stand on Fremont Street, and I'm going to have people scan the code and get the book, and I'm going to hand out flyers. I like when you believe in yourself, you have to go like so outside of your imagination, like so outside of your imagination. So another thing I have to do is order more beads for bracelets. So like this campaign is going because like I have to order beads for bracelets, and I want to say shout out to Stephanie. Stephanie was one of the first person who got me all these bracelet supplies because I remember last November when people wanted to wear blue bracelets. And I was like, blue bag, I like brought a domain. I was gonna make all these blue bracelets and I got sick. I had long COVID, right? But like, here's what they look like. Aren't they pretty? They look just like they match so perfectly. Look at that. All the colors of the book is on your bracelet. And they're handmade. So to know that I'm gonna be making 3,000, not even, it's like 29 more. 29.50 between me and my family, and these are just they have to be sealed and cut, and then I bag them. I get so excited when I can show off like what I do. I love using my hands, so I just put them in this cute little baggie. Just so y'all know, this is all handmade. That's why this campaign is what it is, because we have to hand make stuff, print labels. This is the part that's probably won't be the most fun, is printing labels. If you know anything about marketing, you can print labels. Somebody asked me if they could just buy the bracelets if they already have the book. If you guys want to buy bracelets, I can put some up. I guess I could sell 3. I don't know. I could sell 3 bracelets. I could send y'all some bracelets. Aren't they cute? This is like my favorite thing, is to like brag. Bracelets, who wants a bracelet? Yay. You all don't know what goes on. So people are like, $44 is a lot of money. First of all, some books you get a book and there's like, some people have like actual messages, and then I sign, and then I have to package, and then there's envelopes, there's labels. You know what I'm saying? You would love a bracelet. Okay. Send you one. All right. So I will update the link in the bio, and guess I'm selling 3 bracelets for name your price. Y'all are watching. I'll let you all figure it. We're gonna do 3 bracelets. How much for 3 bracelets, y'all? Let's see what y'all think about labor and value. How much are 3 bracelets? Who's gonna go first? Just throw a number out there, and I'm gonna be like, we'll see. Definitely will send you one though if you want one. I only sell them in 3 packs though. Only sell them in 3 packs because I got to get more supplies. But yeah, this is what comes. I will definitely put them in the bio. You can throw a number, or you don't have to throw a number. I'll make one up. I love angel numbers, so I'm like 11 11 22 22 444 333. So there will be an angel number associated, but I will send out 3 packs. But this is the one I was really excited about when I'm so off track, but who cares, right? Remember when we're going to do the blue bracelets? This is going to be my ultimate blue baddie. This is going to be my ultimate blue baddie. I'm on 3 different, like 6 platforms right now. So if I'm moving around. So if you're just joining, I hope you watched the replay. It was pretty phenomenal. I enjoyed myself this morning. I'm only doing 30 minutes today and 30 minutes this afternoon. So I'll be like, you like the blue one? This is, I think this one is 6 inches, but no one has this one. So if you send me a message, I know you're a subscriber here on Substack, I'll send this one to you. Let me put that, this one's yours. So send me a message so you can, I'll send it to you. This is what I do. Like, I like to write books, make bracelets, show up for collective, show up for myself, and just tell everybody, thank you so much. Absolutely. You're welcome. I probably have like shipping. Probably have to like, hey, just need you to cover shipping. Put it in a little envelope. But like, I'm also learning to make. If you're not on YouTube, you're not going to see this, but I'm going to show it to people. I'm also really big into collaging, and so I have made a collage that I'm going to turn into my thank you cards. Um, I don't. So I'm going to show you one of them, and it's stamped. So you all are like, you guys get to see it. I've been sharing them with the members of the collective because I've been feeling super creative and really, really excited about this. Let me see if I can share my screen. If you're not on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, you don't get to see it, but I maybe do a sneak preview in the chat for Substack. I'll do it. And for TikTok, I'll figure it out. I forgot I'm live on multiple platforms. So let me share my screen, a window. Okay, so here it is. Isn't this so cool? This is the stuff that I'm making. So I want to make one, and I'm sorry you all can't see it on TikTok or Substack, but like I'm starting to make collage like photo cards. And so this one, we are in our collective, our book club, we are listening to The Conjuring of America. I'm also listening to it in advance. And so it's so funny. The collective, they were like, we see where your vision was with this one. And literally, I want you all to see it so bad on TikTok and Substack. Okay, I'll put it in the stories on Substack. I mean on TikTok. So y'all after this you'll see it. And then in Substack, I'll put it in the group chat. But like I'm also now making a custom postcard, a thank you card for Heal Your Way Forward, but I just have to get the visuals for it. I made two more. The one I made this morning was pretty cool, but the one for Heal Your Way Forward, it's gonna be pretty dope and layered, and very excited to share it with all of you all. So yeah, I want to just say thank y'all for staying and tuning in with me today. I hope you got something out of our time together. I'll be back live at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Let me stop sharing. So one of the things that I love following, like Dr. Nicole Rawls, Candace Demenza, these are some beautiful, Dr. Yulinda Renee Raman. These are some beautiful sisters that I follow on Instagram that are really reminding me about the importance of tapping into my imagination, my creativity, exploring self-reconciliation, which is something I'm going to start educating on. Let me get through these 30 days to work with Doc Rock, learning about so much and wanting to bring that to you all in creative ways, not just talking. And before I go, just in case you didn't know, quick tip about me that a lot of people don't know. 1, I am a Reiki master. 2, I am a breathwork facilitator. 3, I am finishing up my yoga certifications. And I have a certification in self-reconciliation and therapeutic BDSM. So much good stuff coming. I think that this has just been a shadow period of my life, and we'll get through it like we get through everything else. So I appreciate each and every one of you. And until I see y'all later tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, keep